Recording.
Recording. I'm
sorry, geez.
Was that the wife or the kid?
That was Kylie.
Oh.
I just thought it was funny because I was like, recording. And I was like, recording with my snotty tone. And then they were like, oh, so sorry.
Daddy's got to make his art.
I'm making magic over here.
What'd they say?
I didn't hear it. Wherever they said, I didn't hear it. What's up, everybody? I'm Richard.
And I'm Ron.
And I think we're speaking the language of bromance, but I thought it seems like Shawn is speaking a language that is unknown to me.
I'm speaking the language of Ruby Mance, Richard. So there are movies that, you know, when they come out, you're like, oh my gosh, like I need to see this. And you see it and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to see it a second time. And then you're like, oh my gosh, maybe I should see it a third time, maybe a fourth time, maybe a fifth time. And if you're like my kid, maybe you should see it 12 times in one day. But it's a good movie, so I wanted to talk about it. I mean,
okay, wait a minute. Like, do the math on that. So that's 24 hours. Like, did he actually watch?
No, we did at least watch it 4 or 5 times one day. Like, It was a legit, like, back-to-back. And necessarily was like, you watched it all the way. It was like, it was on, we'd go do something and come back, and it would be, like, in the middle, and so we'd start it back over. But, Richard, I'm talking about the brand new movie that was just released in homes, the Scooby-Doo movie, Scoob, which you said you haven't seen yet.
I have not seen, and the reason why is because my youngest child is 12. So not really something that was on anybody's radar in the house.
Are you like seeing the preview and stuff? Because when I first saw the first trailer,
I honestly didn't even see a preview. Oh. I saw nothing on this movie. I am 100% blind. I mean, I know who the character is. Like, well, let's start
Scooby-Doo is a
goddamn
dog who can talk and has a knack for eating tons of food.
Yeah. And they drive around in a van called the Enigma Elantra.
But when my son is a huge like Scooby-Doo fan. Like I liked a pup named Scooby-Doo when I was a kid.
Oh, that was good stuff.
Yeah. I didn't like the original Scooby-Doo because a pup named Scooby-Doo was fairly new when I was about like 7 or 8. So like I see this like really good animation, which
I like the music in A Pup Named Scooby-Doo.
Pup named Scooby-Doo.
Well, it was very like doo-woppy. It was like, yeah. Like Scooby-Doo.
Doo 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 doo.
Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they always blamed red herring. Sad note, Richard, as I researched for this episode.
Oh God, don't tell me red herring's dead.
No, the kid who played why am I blanking on his name? Fred. The kid who played young Fred. That was the very first time nobody but Fred Welker had played Fred. Because Fred Welker's or Frank Weckler. He's the guy who's played Fred in like everything. And Scooby. So in this, that was the first time somebody other than him had played Fred, and it was a child actor who, you know, developed a drug habit and passed away when he was like in his mid-20s.
Fantastic.
So the curse of Scooby-Doo.
Well, at least we're starting on a high note.
But no, I loved Pup Named Scooby-Doo, and I didn't really like the old Scooby-Doo because, you know, the animation, obviously, there's a big jump in like quality from like the 60s and 70s to the, you know, the early 90s. So I was like, I don't want any of this old man Scooby-Doo.
I'll tell you who I did not like, who I really didn't like at all, 100%. I'm going to say it, and you're going to know why. Scrappy.
Yeah, he was
everybody, not everybody hated Scrappy, but I hated Scrappy.
Yeah,
I'm like, do you have to be such a fucking punk kid?
Yeah, he's got little man syndrome.
Yeah, he does, 100%.
I think the original Scooby-Doo live action with Sarah Michelle Gellar, I think he's the bad guy. Spoilers.
Oh yeah. I think you're right.
Yeah, but he's not a puppy. He's got like a growth issue. So
wank.
Yeah. But my son like loves all Scooby-Doos. Like he loves the newest one, which is like Too Cool Scooby-Doo, I think, or Be Cool Scooby-Doo. He likes Pup Named Scooby-Doo. He likes the old 69 pups or 69 Scooby-Doos.
Yeah.
Which are okay. Like watching them now, I really like them. But when this movie came out and I saw a trailer for it, I was like, oh my gosh, like my son hasn't been to a movie theater yet. This is going to be his first movie.
Oh, that's great. So you take him to the theater. So tell me the story. So you take him to the theater.
Yeah.
And
so
everything's amazing. And you guys get to
popcorn.
sit in chairs and eat popcorn.
Yeah. And the theater's packed.
Yeah.
We
and
took
everybody's
Grandma
clapping.
And Pop there. Yeah. And he's like, oh my God, no, Richard, that didn't happen. Corona. There, we've said
it. You gave him beer?
Yeah, we gave him beer. But, you know, when all this stuff was going on, so I was like, I don't know if they're going to postpone it, because they've done that with some movies. But they're like, no, early home access, get it the day it's supposed to be in theaters. So
yeah, they did that with
Onward was the other one, yeah. Which we watched that one that way too.
I actually did watch Onward.
And good.
I thought I was going to cry like pretty much throughout the entire movie because I heard what the premise of it is, that it's two brothers and their dad had died.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck. I was like, it's a Pixar movie and there's a dead dad in it. I'm like, motherfucker. I was like, I'm going to cry through this entire movie. Didn't happen. Only did it almost once.
So we're not really supposed to talk about Onward, but talking about Onward, I wasn't like really interested in it until I found out more of the premise of like they're going on an adventure was like the big thing.
Yeah.
And then it like up to like 2 or 3 weeks before it was released, or maybe a month or so, a trailer came out showing it's like, oh, it's these two brothers who are trying to bring their dead dad back for a day because he had a spell. And I thought I was going to cry, and I did. I didn't really cry, but I did get a little teary-eyed because it's the part where like the younger brother's realizing like, oh my gosh, I've had a dad figure my whole life.
Yes. Right.
And like he's like, I'm going to let my oh man, I'm going to cry right now. It's so sad. He's
Stop
like, I'm
it.
going to give my brother the opportunity to see dad because he remembers dad just slightly.
Oh fuck.
But he hasn't had a guy that, you know, taught him how to ride a bike or throw a baseball or share his life story like me, like my big brother.
God damn it.
Pulls at the heartstrings.
Fucking Pixar, man.
Yeah. And then at the end too, where, you know, it's like, oh, what'd you ask him? And like his wizard name was what he asked him. He's like, well, would he say anything else? And he's like, he wanted me to give you this. And he fucking hugs his brother from his dad, Richard. If that doesn't make your eyes well up.
Stop it.
I don't know what will.
Stop it.
You listen to Conway Twitties, That's My Job, right before you watch that movie, and you're crying the whole time.
You're right.
But so I saw the trailer for this Scooby-Doo, and you know it's a little bit of kind of like the prequel of Scooby, which they did really good with this, where it's not the full focal point of the movie.
Okay.
So, you know, spoilers, obviously. If you're going to watch the movie, I'd say stop right now and come back and go watch Scoob, because it is really good. Like I said, we've watched it 20 times and I still enjoy and still pick things out.
I'm not going to lie. I kind of like watching. I kind of like it when you have to explain movies to me. I feel like I should do this for you more often, but I like it when you do it for me. I like it when you have to explain to me things that I haven't seen.
Because when you watch the movie, you're like, Shawn, I don't think Shawn watched the same movie I am. There's no nudity in this. But so, you know, you get introduced to Scooby and Shag like right away, but they're not like Shaggy is basically this kid who has no friends and he's out on his own. And, you know, Scooby's kind of the same way. He's being chased by like a dog pound guy, like trying to catch him.
Okay.
And, you know, Shaggy's sitting there as Scooby gets away from the dog police. Shaggy's sitting there, you know, and he's talking to these two big sand piles. And he's like, oh, well, this counts as a play date because, you know, I have no friends. And like that part almost made me cry. Because like, here's this guy, he's like all on his lonesome. And then Scooby comes out. and they find out that they've got a lot in common, and he gives them the name like he does in the trailer. Okay. But the part that like makes my heart whelp up is the part where they're sitting on the bed. It's in the trailer, and Shaggy gives Scooby the collar, and Scooby says, "I'll never take it off." Aww. And it's just like that. And like see, that was in the trailer, and I'm like sitting at work during lunch watching this, and I'm bawling, crying. Yeah. Like, what is it? It's like, it's a boy and his dog. It's not so much beating. But and what I really like about this movie too is like them meeting the other, Velma, Daphne, and Fred is pretty quick. And there are so many like Easter eggs and callbacks too, Richard. Like if you like Hanna Barbara,
like Easter eggs pertaining to the Scoobiverse, I guess, for lack of a better term, or is it Easter eggs for like other things?
It's more like the history of Scooby-Doo. Okay. Because even in the newer like cartoons, they make references to, or they have like episodes based on, the same monsters from older episodes.
Okay.
So like in this, they meet up with Fred, Daphne, and Velma, and they have their first like mystery, which is kind of all done by accident. Some big bullies mess with Scooby.
Wait a minute, so we're Shaggy. Rebooting the Scoobiverse?
Yeah, I mean this takes place pretty much like the opening of this.
What happened to a pup named Scooby-Doo? Pup named Scooby-Doo, they were all like younger kids.
Oh, and yeah, this is retconned.
Oh, they retconned fucking a pup named Scooby-Doo?
They did. Retconned.
But I liked a pup named Scooby-Doo.
I did too, but all the Scooby-Doos don't play. Actually, side note.
Scooby-Doo.
Did you ever watch 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo?
I remember it, but I didn't watch it.
What sad
I always liked when they did in the older ones. I always liked when they brought on like other people. Like you remember like Scooby with like the Harlem Globetrotters?
Oh yeah, they had a whole like I don't remember what they called it. It feels like Who's That, but they had like
Abbott and Costello. Well, Batman. I remember. Yes.
Well, they rebooted it. They made like 12 new episodes. So it's got Penn and Teller in one episode. Who's the Urkel? They had Urkel in one.
Oh, okay.
They had the who's the famous bald comedian who does the Hot Pockets?
Well, fuck if I know. I don't know.
He's got that joke. He's funny. Batman, Wonder Woman were in it.
Yeah.
So they've kind of done that too recently, which was pretty good.
I like that. I always remember them with like the Three Stooges. That was another one. Oh, the older ones.
I mean, so one of the things I want to talk about with this too is like Scooby-Doo is something that's lasted the test of time, right?
Very much so.
The first episode of this was released in like 68 or 69.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's 50 years, right?
50 years of fucking the mystery machine chugging along. That's that's a lot to think about. Like, think about that, okay? Like, granted, like they're all like, kind of fairly simplistic in terms of like mysteries, but you're basically coming up with like a dumbed down version of an Agatha Christie novel for the last like 40 years.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I mean, like seriously, there's probably shows out there that we're not thinking. Like, well, no, actually, there's not. Like Flintstones, they're not still making new episodes of that.
No.
The Jetsons, not doing that. But the Scooby-Doo universe has just kept chugging along.
Yep.
And
the only other thing I could think of is like Looney Tunes would be the only other thing I could think of.
Yeah, I feel like every like 5 or 6 years they like try to reboot that.
Yeah.
But Scooby-Doo is the only one to me that seems like they have like new series, like, every 1 or 2 years, there's a brand new type of series that runs for multiple years.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is a show that just put out a movie that I think did really well. I haven't heard any
I have no
complaints.
idea.
I haven't heard anything of like, oh my gosh, this is the worst thing ever.
That's true. Another one. I haven't heard anything bad. I haven't heard anybody be like, fuck this movie.
But the other thing
they've tarnished the name of Scooby-Doo forever.
What's crazy about Hanna Barbera and Scooby, they put out like probably 4 to 5, like 1.5 to 2 hour movies, like straight to DVD kind of thing.
# not my Scooby.
Oh man, they're all my Scoobies because they're always kind of like one shots.
Did you ever hear the story about Shaggy? That apparently Shaggy is like this fucking all powerful character.
No, what is that?
So okay, So apparently there's a rumor on the interwebs that Shaggy has
a warlock
is more powerful than any sort of anime character you can think of. That he would take out Goku from Dragon Ball Z with like a flick of his finger. And like all those shows like Dragon Ball Z and One Punch Man and those where like it's like two people fighting. Apparently, like Shaggy is the god tier.
Why is that? What
I have
what
no
reason?
fucking idea.
Because
but you can look on the internet and you can find examples apparently of why Shaggy is apparently this fucking all powerful fucking character. There was this huge movement. So Mortal Kombat 11 came out probably 4 or 5 months ago.
Uh-huh.
And there was this big push to put Shaggy in Mortal Kombat.
I'd buy it
as a character. I don't know. I have no idea why.
What do you do? Like throw sandwiches and like have condiments as weapons?
Maybe. Oh my God, he'd make it. Didn't they have Shaggy snacks? They had Shaggy snacks in
Scooby snacks. They always had Scooby snacks.
Yeah, but didn't Shaggy have snacks in a pup named Scooby Doo?
No, he just ate Scooby snacks, which is kind of weird when you think about that. He was eating dog biscuits, but I mean,
but we look over that.
His name was Shaggy, and I mean, it's pretty much reference that he was a stoner. So he named his dog Scooby Dooby. I mean,
yeah,
it took me a while to really figure out what that meant, and by a while, I mean the movie Scoob that just came out. Let's see, where was I going with that? But yeah, so the interaction between them and like the mystery clan or the mystery group getting together sooner than later, it's all pretty quick. So they don't like make that like the huge part of the movie. The first mystery, some kids steal some candy from them on Halloween, throw it in there, and that's when he meets Fred, Velma, and Daphne.
Okay.
And they go and help him get the candy from the haunted house where they, discover the guy who lives there is like stealing stuff, right? And when I said like they had good Easter eggs, like there's a good montage of them going from their like kid age to grown up, going through different mysteries that we know from their like previous like incarnations. So like it's basically like the opening of the 1969 Scooby-Doo TV show, but it's with these new live characters.
Okay.
So you see like the famous where they're all looking at a book and they all look up. Instead of it being the old characters, it's these new animated characters.
Oh, nice. All right.
Yeah, so it's just kind of a nice little like Easter egg toss-in type thing.
Yeah.
Let's see. So, I want to talk about this before we jump to. So you're talking about like us going to the movie theater. So, I've been telling my son this for about last 6 months or so before stuff went haywire that, hey, we're going to go see this movie Scoob in the movie theater. Well, knowing that was going to be a possibility, what we did for like Onward, we set up like we wrote on some paper like, our family movie theater, and we put the times down for Onward and stuff like that. And so we kind of made like a movie going experience.
Oh,
and
nice.
So that's what we did with Scoob. Like we printed out tickets.
Oh, cool.
We had him go up to a ticket stand and have it like scanned kind of thing. And we had snacks. And like Onward, about 2/3 through it, he kind of got bored with it because I think it's just maybe a little too much for him. But Scooby was invested 110%, so much so that we watched it a second time after we finished it.
Tell the projector man to run it again.
I said run it again.
But buddy, we gotta leave the run it again. Okay.
Roku hit play. So they jump into this and they go into this the scene where they're like, okay, what's next for us? And I think they do a good job of kind of splitting the party pretty early in the movie. So you have the guy from America's Got Talent. What's his name? The British guy. Simon Cowell.
Oh, okay.
So Simon Cowell comes up. He's like, I'm going to invest in this company. This Mystery Inc., but you got to get rid of the two bad guys, the ones that are not bad guys, but just the guys who aren't carrying this company, Scooby and Shaggy.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and Daphne and them are just kind of like, yeah, like we don't really want to, but maybe we should, but you already hurt their feelings, so they leave, right?
Fuck that old
bowling.
Man.
Richard, who do you think is the bad guy in this, right? So these guys leave, they go bowling, and all of a sudden they're getting attacked by alien robots. Who do you think sent those alien robots?
It's not Simon Cowell, is it?
No, but I have a theory on who Simon Cowell was at this point in time in the movie.
Oh shit!
Hold on to that little mind nugget, and I'll tell you later.
Okay. So wait a minute. So as the movie's going, like, are you sitting there going, "I know who did it"?
No, I didn't.
And then the boy's like, "Shut up, Dad!"
It wasn't until like I watched it for the 18th or 19th or maybe the 37th time that I realized the little mind nugget. I'll tell you.
Okay.
Fucking Dick Dastardly, Richard. They bring Dick Dastardly into the Scooby-Doo universe.
Oh, nice. Oh my God. Does this mean we're going to see a Wacky Races movie? Because I would rob your house and use that money to fucking pay for a Wacky Races movie.
So, Richard, the whole idea behind this movie, like the main, like what's going on. So Dick Dastardly is trying to get Scooby and Shaggy. He's actually trying to get Scooby because Scooby is, let me look at the name so I don't screw it up. It's the famous, Alexander the Great. So Scooby is part of the bloodline of Alexander the Great's dog. And Alexander the Great and his dog had basically set this thing up so that they had all this gold and all this like treasures that they had hidden.
Okay.
And Dick Dastardly is on the hunt for the three skulls of, what's the three skull dog? What's that thing called? Cerberus. So Dick Dastardly is trying to find three skulls of that thing so he can open up this portal to get all this treasure.
The portal to the underworld?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the problem is Dick Dastardly and his dog Muttley had discovered a way to create a portal, but it was a one-way portal.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and he shows that his dog Muttley really, really wanted to do it. Like, wasn't any motivation from him at all. But in the flashback, we see that, Dick Dastardly is pushing Muttley pretty much through the portal. And as Muttley goes through it, he can't come back through. It's a one-way portal. So you see this whole, like, it's a side-by-side comparison with Shaggy and his dog, his best friend.
Okay.
And Dick Dastardly and his dog, his best friend. So Dick Dastardly's goal is to get back to this place and get all the treasure, of course, and get his dog back.
Aw, poor Muttley.
Yeah. It was kind of sad because you see he's got like a this basically monument to Muttley. It's got like his collar, his dog bowl, a big
that's
picture.
Sweet.
But it's like a very like dictator picture of Muttley because Muttley kind of looks like a dictator. I don't know much about. So the other big character in this is Blue Falcon.
Blue Falcon. He was one of the leaders of the other teams on Wacky Races.
Yeah, I don't remember much about Blue Falcon, but it's not Blue Falcon. It's Blue Falcon's son.
Okay.
Who's doing his best to be like his dad. So when Scooby and Shaggy
does he put on the suit?
He has his own suit. It's not the same
nice.
suit.
Does it have like the little like it basically like it looked like the old Blue Falcon, like basically he looked like Batman.
Yeah, he had a Batman look to him.
But like his cowl, the cowl kind of goes over his head, and it's kind of like it's like a falcon head at the top.
Yeah,
it's basically like if a falcon like opened its mouth really wide, and a person's face came out of it.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty much similar to that, I would say.
Okay.
He's got a great like gift basket he gives to Shaggy, which contains the book from his dad called No Falcon Around. And then his book is called Just Falcon Around. The other funny part with like name or wordplay is they're getting attacked by Dick Dastardly, and the younger Blue Falcon is kind of too scared to go through and do what he needs to do.
Okay.
So Shaggy's like, "Oh my gosh, you need to get one of your F-bombs and throw it." And he's like, "Whoa, let's keep this PG." Blue Falcon was played by Mark Wahlberg. Don't know if you knew that or not, but
I didn't. I have no idea about any of the cast.
I could not pick up his voice as Blue Falcon. Like, I don't know what he did or if it was just the movie or what, but I just could not pick him up out of it. Will Forte plays Shaggy, which I was a little kind of not perturbed. Like, the one thing I'd say, like, I wish they would have done differently is I wish they would have casted Matthew Lillard as Shaggy. So if you remember the live action movies,
I remember. He was Shaggy in the live action movies.
Yeah, and he's been doing all the cartoons pretty much since Casey Kasem's passed away. So all the direct to DVD movies, some of the cartoons and stuff that they did, Matthew Lillard's kind of taken the helm for it.
Okay.
Scooby is voiced by Frank Welker though, so that's another kind of plus because he's been Scooby's voice since '69.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Tracy Morgan's in this, and I'll tell you who Tracy Morgan plays a little bit later.
Oh, all right. So far I've got Tracy Morgan, Simon Cowell, like any other names that are recognizable that I would know.
Will Forte, Mark Wahlberg.
Okay.
The other ones might be in some things. Jenna Rodriguez, I think she's in a few CW things. Oh, Fred is played by Zac Efron.
Oh, okay.
Which he did a good job. Zac Efron's one of those guys that I feel like you kind of like early on give him a lot of crap because of High School Musical, but like he was in that new Baywatch movie, and that was really funny.
Yeah,
I haven't seen the.
Yeah, it was Baywatch. Wasn't he? Was he in 21 Jump Street, or am I thinking of somebody else?
He might have been. I know he was in the new Bundy movie, where he plays. Ted Bundy,
yeah, that's right.
Which I heard was good. But so they get captured. They end up needing to figure out where this third skull is, right?
Okay.
So they identify that this third skull is hidden in this Mesozoic island. So it's basically in the Antarctic. They break through the Antarctic ice shield, and it's this volcanic island that has its own ecosystem. You know, it's basically got dinosaurs, all kinds of weird stuff, right? Pterodactyls. So they land the Falcon machine, and they're going to go try to find this third skull before Dick Dastardly does.
Okay.
All right, Richard. Mesozoic era. Which Hanna Barbera character do you think would fit perfectly there?
Oh, I know this because I loved a lot of the Hanna Barbera cartoons. I'm gonna go with Captain Caveman.
Captain!
Yes!
Caveman! Voiced by Tracy Morgan.
Oh, okay.
It is probably like there's like, you know, whenever you watch kid movies, like there's a few scenes where you kind of chuckle, maybe like you're like, oh, that's kind of funny. I laughed out loud at least like 4 or 5 times throughout this whole movie. Okay. And Tracy Morgan's pieces were like up there. You know, when he first meets him, he's talking about like, I will talk slowly so your little brains can process the words coming out of my mouth. And as they're walking to where the skull is, because he's like the protector of the skull, you hear him say like, and come to find out, I wasn't even the raptor's dad. So there's lots of little like things in there with that. But you get a good fight between Captain Caveman, the Falcon, and Scooby-Doo. At this point, Scooby and Shaggy have kind of split off from each other. And the reason they do is because Scooby is identified as being important and Shaggy is not. So they kind of have a like, you know, I'm jealous of you because, you know, you're getting superhero stuff and I'm just getting this basket of, you know, Falcon Around books.
Aww.
So Scooby's going on this adventure to see Captain Caveman by himself. But Shaggy ends up getting visited by one Fred, who Richard, when we find out as they get back up with the crew, it's not Fred. It's Dick Dastardly in disguise.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so they kidnap
Such
Scooby.
a dastardly maneuver.
It was. There's another funny scene, so this is kind of backing up because I'm kind of bouncing around, but they're on their way to try and basically rescue Scooby and Shaggy. And as they're driving, it's Velma, Daphne, and Fred. And Fred's driving, and they're kind of like starting to bicker. And Fred gets mad at Velma. He's like, I'm Velma. The world is 1 and 0s. Beep, boop, 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 boop. And they come to
what a dick.
No, and they're like, why are we fighting? They're like, oh, we're hangry. We skipped lunch because they don't have Scooby and Shaggy.
Makes sense.
But when they get pulled over, Fred is driving, obviously, because it's a mystery machine. He's like, I got this. I've seen cops like 4 times. Up comes this like super sexy blonde.
Oh, shit.
And so, yeah, it's like they start playing, little like Let's Get It On music, which is kind of inappropriate.
That good old saxophone.
Yeah. And so he gets out, and the person's saying something like, oh, we're on the way to fight Dick Dastardly. It's like, oh, well, he's a pretty handsome guy, isn't he? And then, Velma like, no, he's gross. Kind of like a rat and like a hairball if they had a baby. And come to find out, the blonde was Dick Dastardly in disguise.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, you think you feel weird 100%
didn't see that coming.
I know. How do you think Fred felt? He had so many questions after that.
Yeah, I bet he did.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Shawn, does Fred kiss a man?
No, they don't kiss. They didn't butt up to that. Which, I mean, could you blame him? I mean, like, if I came like up to you as like a super sexy blonde in some kind of like futuristic like suit.
Shawn, I'm married.
Is she in the room, Richard? We're in a safe place.
Can neither confirm nor deny.
Did you just say you'd kiss Shawn again? No. I mean, no?
Yes. My lips. Free country. I love who I love.
So it's Dick Dastardly in disguise. And so the only like real kind of complaint I have on this movie, so they're stuck on this island because as Dick Dastardly is leaving with Scooby, he destroys the Falcon spaceship.
Oh no.
And they kind of don't really show you how they figure it out, but basically what they do is they just hook stuff up to the mystery machine, and then that's how they get out of this Mesozoic place. But they don't really like show you how they do it. There's no montage. It just happens.
Ah.
So
I think they should. You could have stuck a montage in there. You could have thrown in some like cheesy '80s music.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, the movie's only 94 minutes, so you could have had a 4 or 5 minute montage easy enough.
Yeah, right.
Like you could have you could have thrown back to like Pup Named Scooby Doo music, like do.
Yeah.
Do
montage for Scooby Doo.
Yeah.
Scooby Doo.
That would have been ideal. But I felt like there's probably some stuff that got put on the cutting room floor, and it was probably that.
Damn it.
But they get out. They get back
into... I hate how fake Hollywood is.
Yeah, I know. They get back to Greece, where Dick Dastardly has opened up the gates to where Cerberus is.
Okay.
And so the dog's coming out with the 3 heads. They end up knocking down the mystery machine, so Fred comes back to fight because the mystery machine is now destroyed.
Oh, no.
And it all kind of comes down to like a love of a dog and a boy kind of thing, right? So,
oh my God, do they flash back to like a young Shaggy?
I don't remember if they flash back. Basically, like the whole thing of this is that this gate can only be closed with the dog on one side and the basically the best friend human on the other.
Uh-huh.
And so Scooby's like, oh, well, I know what I need to do. And Shaggy's like, no, I'll do it. And so Shaggy, so basically what I'm saying is like one person has to stay in this like Cerberus, almost like hellscape, and the other person has to be in like the real world to get the doors to close.
Oh, I see.
And so Scooby's saying like, no, I'll do it. I'll go in the hellscape. And Shaggy's like, no, I'll do it because that's what friends do.
Aw.
And so Shaggy does that, and Shaggy goes in the hellscape. And do you know who he sees there, Richard? Hellraiser.
His parents.
Fucking weirdest thing ever. My kid hasn't been able to sleep since we watched this.
His parents, and then he's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, and the dad's like, your mom sucks cocks in hell. Wait, what the fuck?
No, she really does. Look.
Hell's amazing. But
and then I was like, boy, don't tell your mom about this part.
But they so they're able to figure out how like to get Shaggy back pretty quick. So it's definitely like the movie like was
the the bit where Scooby and Shaggy are standing at the, the gates of the underworld. Is that the end?
Well, so like this is where, like I said, the movie is like really going like high, and then about the time they get to the Mesozoic era, it kind of starts coasting.
Yeah.
And then like it just takes like a sharp like roller coaster end. So there's lots of stuff that just kind of happens to tidy it up. So like, they show up with the mystery machine with like jets on it. They fight Cerberus and get him back into the hellscape.
Okay.
Shaggy and Scooby do their thing, so Shaggy's stuck in the hellscape. But then all of a sudden there's a like monument that shows up that shows Alexander the Great and his dog with an inscription.
Uh-huh.
And Shaggy reads it, or I'm sorry, Scooby reads it. And it's essentially like basically telling Scooby to come home. And he's like, "Come home, Shaggy, come home."
Aw.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. But then the door opens and Cerberus kicks Shaggy out. So apparently Shaggy was annoying Cerberus pretty bad in the 10 minutes he was there. But they all get back together. They're all happy. And they catch Dick Dastardly and Muttley. Because now Dick Dastardly and Muttley. So,
how'd they catch him?
How did they catch him?
Were they just like running off and...
Well, there's a little bit of a side note to this that I didn't mention this character much, but Dick Dastardly has a bunch of robots that works for him.
Okay.
They're like little bitty robots. And he got pissed at one that was kind of sucking up to him. So what he did is he stuck a little vacuum on his head, but he didn't clean it out. So every time he walked around, he'd sneeze.
Oh.
But after he kidnapped the mystery group, Daphne cleaned out the stuff for him so that he could breathe fine. So then that robot became her friend.
Oh.
The robots essentially turned on Dick Dastardly.
Oh, bullshit robots.
Yeah.
That's how it starts. First they turn on Dick Dastardly, and then they turn on us.
Then they turn on the world.
Man. Robot, apocalypse, robot, man.
So as they have Dick Dastardly and Muttley, getting ready to go to jail, they have to do the reveal, right?
Yes. Yeah, I was going to ask, like, there better be a, let's find out who you really are scene, or else I'm going to be pissed. Or else I'm going to say this is worst movie ever. That's where I draw the line.
And he called them not meddling millennials, but millennial something, which I thought was cool. It wasn't during the reveal. It was when they when he was getting ready to shoot them down in the mystery machine.
Okay.
So it wasn't like a focal point. It was like a quick little thing. But they do the reveal, right? So like, Dick Dastardly, let's see who you really are.
Yes.
Pull off the mask, and it's Simon Cowell.
Oh, it's not Red Herring?
It's not Red Herring. But Richard, do you know what everybody always forgets in the Scooby-Doo movies?
That there's always a red herring?
That there's a double unveiling. And so they pull off the Simon Cowell cowl, and it's Dick Dastardly.
Motherfucker. You faked me. You did me a double fake, and I don't appreciate it.
So they take him to jail, right? The Scooby-Doo movie ends. They get them open up their own mystery.
Okay, wait a minute. So what is Dick Dastardly actually going to jail for? Like, is there a law on inciting an apocalypse?
I would assume something. Because, he, destroyed a lot of, historical property, too.
Okay.
And I'm sure, it's Dick Dastardly. I'm sure there's tons of crimes. We're going to
You're going to jail, Dick Dastardly, for what?
Animal abuse.
Loitering.
It's just like
property damage. You're going to go to jail for 8 to 10 days.
Yeah, and then you know what we're going to get you on? Tax evasion. Good enough for Capone, good enough for Dick Dastardly.
Motherfucker, that's how they always get you.
So, the ending of this, the Scooby group is, they build their own Mystery Inc. building. They get a new Mystery Inc. mobile from the Falcon. And the end credits, they're kind of showing them going through it's basically the best way to explain it is it's extremely updated drawings of the characters and how they're animated here, but in old situations that they were in in the old cartoons.
Oh, okay.
So the guy who you always see him in the opening of the credits with
it's like the old school Scooby-Doo in HD, or
basically. Exactly.
Okay.
But they do a really good job of throwing in Hanna Barbera tidbits in here. So you see Dick Dastardly, you see that shark, that great white shark.
Oh, fucking Jabberjaw.
Yeah, you see Jabberjaw. You see a couple other like characters as they're going through this. So they're really kind of like yeah. So they're really kind of being like, oh my gosh, there's this Hanna Barbera universe that we want to build.
Oh,
which
awesome.
I'm all for that. Like I want.
That's
like,
what I'm saying. Like the next movie needs like I better see a fucking Wacky Races movie.
I think they build the Wacky Races. So you see a Jabberjaw movie.
Shawn, I am a grown 38-year-old man, and I would pay money and go see fucking Wacky Races.
Oh yeah. So what you do is phase 1 WBM or W was it HBCU.
See, so you're saying that Scooby-Doo is the Iron Man? Scooby-Doo is our Iron Man. So next is going to be, you know who should be next? Since you got, you put in Captain Caveman, you put in, you know what you need next? Hong Kong Phooey.
Ooh, there you go. Yeah. Hong Kong Phooey. Then maybe Jabberjaw. Then Scoob 2.
Jabberjaw's kind of a lesser known. I mean, like, I
remember watching some of those.
Yeah, Jabberjaw, the Falcon. There was Dick Dastardly. There was Captain Caveman.
Wacky Races, though, I love.
Oh, Wacky Races was so fucking good.
You know they could do that, right? Like they could put out 4 like of these individual movies and then do a Wacky Races.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, you're speaking my fucking language now.
Yeah. I mean, if they did that, they're the Hanna Barbara Cinematic Universe, the HBCU. Like you're all in on that, right?
I'm all in. I'd be all in for a Wacky Races movie.
I don't know what the budget was for this movie. I'm kind of curious about that now. It's always hard to figure out where they do that.
I'm trying to think of fucking all the characters that were in Wacky Races.
There was
Dick Dastardly was always like there were 3 teams of racers. There was a blue team. I want to say there was like a green team, and then there was like a purple team. And Dick Dastardly was pretty much always like there were other bad guys, but Dick Dastardly was the only one you really fucking gave a shit about.
Well, Dick Dastardly is like, yeah, if you just like raced and quit worrying about people, you'd always win.
Right?
He always tried to do stupid
stuff. He always
stuff.
like got ahead of everybody else and then tried to do something to fuck with everybody. And then just ended up basically like shooting himself in the fucking foot. Fucking Wacky Races.
I'm not seeing any like details on Scoob though, like how well it did or anything, like money wise, or what the budget is.
B2 Scooby-Doo.
But Richard, I gave you that little mind nugget earlier. I don't know if that's still in your mind or not. I blew my wife's mind with this. So we know that we need to get our main characters. We had to get the party split, right?
Right.
Had to split the party.
Yes.
And we remember how that happened, right? Simon Cowell came and split the party. Do we really think that was Simon Cowell?
Or was it fucking Dick Dastardly?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I like after like the 30th time watching it, I'm seeing, Simon Cowell up there and I'm like, you don't ever see him again. And I'm like, that's fucking Dick Dastardly, isn't it? I don't know if it is or not, but that's my theory. And my wife was like, oh my God, you're so smart.
That's exactly how it happened. She was like, you picked things about the Wacky Races. And you picked out plot points in Scooby-Doo. It's exactly what happened.
Yep, exactly.
Word for word.
She's like, I want a Scooby snack. That's not what happened. But all in all, Richard, like I love the movie. It was good. I hope that this makes like a Scoob 2. Because I thought like for a movie really going off of, because the first live action Scooby-Doo movie was more making fun of Scooby-Doo, I think, instead of kind of celebrating Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And this I felt like is more like a celebration of Scooby-Doo. Because like I said, it's been around for 50 years. Like, I think it's got a little bit more of a soft spot in my heart because my kid loves Scooby-Doo. So seeing him like really enjoy this movie and like really liking this, Blue Falcon character and all these other things to it, like it just kind of made me feel kind of like almost like a kid again, I guess, getting to watch it through his eyes.
Yeah. You know what? I was confusing a couple things, okay? You ready? You ready for this? Okay. So phase 1 would be like your Scooby-Doo, and then you go to like Jabberjaw, and then, fucking you culminate with Wacky Races, right?
Mm-hmm.
You ready for phase 2? Laugh Olympics.
Yes. Oh, Richard. Laugh Olympics would be badass.
Laugh Olympics is phase 2. And so here's what you got for Laugh Olympics, right? Here's who you bring in phase 2. Yogi Bear.
Yes.
Fucking Quick Draw McGraw.
Yes.
That fucking crocodile that I can't think of his name.
The one that's got the little like hat?
Yes.
The poker hat?
Yes. The fucking fedora. Yes.
Yeah.
You got Captain Caveman, you got Scooby-Doo, you got Falcon, and then the little dog that was with Falcon all the time.
He's in this movie too. I can't remember what his name is though.
I can't think of that dog's name. You got Hong Kong Phooey. Grape Ape.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit! Why haven't they done this yet? The dog is Dynamut.
Dynamut. That's it. Thank you. Fuck.
Yeah, I mean Hanna-Barbera has this huge so we've got the Boomerang app, which is basically all of Hanna-Barbera's like cartoons from like new to old, and that's where my sons watch all the Scooby-Doos. And like I said, they come out with a new Scooby-Doo movie like every 3 months. So
yeah,
Scoob came out in May, and then in April they had a Scoob and the Blue Falcon like home video movie.
Now you just start building it out. Yogi Bear, Quick Draw McGraw, that fucking crocodile that I can't think of his goddamn name. Oh shit! The blue dog. Who's the fucking blue dog? Oh god damn it! You're gonna say his name, and I'm gonna be pissed that I don't remember because I used to watch the shit out of it.
Huckleberry Hound.
Huckleberry Hound. Thank you. Fuck.
Oh yes, dude.
Huckleberry Hound.
Ton. The Adamant.
Oh yeah, Adamant.
Well, I mean, with like Captain Caveman, you have the Teen Angels that you could easily bring in.
So Laugh Olympics is your phase 2. You culminate with fucking Laugh Olympics.
They technically own Flintstones, the Jetsons, Johnny Bravo, Johnny Quest. What else? Tom and Jerry's technically theirs too, even though it's not really in that. Smurfs. Because
then you got a whole team. You have a whole team of bad guys in the Laugh Olympics.
Oh yeah. That would be awesome. And they're all building up to that too. Like you have end credit scenes. Listen, Hanna-Barbera, give us a ring. Like we could do this.
Yes.
HBCU, the Hanna-Barbara Cinematic Universe.
Oh, fuck. It rolls off the tongue.
Hanna-Barbera is part of Warner Brothers too. So if you want to start,
so you put all this shit out on HBO Max.
No, it's got its own Boomerang thing. They got their own. I was saying like you could sprinkle in like DC characters. Like the judges.
Yeah.
The judges, you could have like Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman.
Now I'm picturing like fucking Huckleberry Hound and Constantine fucking palling around.
Oh, there we go. Buddy cop movie you didn't know you wanted. But I was kind of curious, like, so of like these old cartoons, we've already kind of gone through a list of them, I think. We might have already come up with what we want, but is there kind of like that old staple type of cartoon that you remember as a kid that you would love for them to bring back and have a new movie for?
I'm trying to think of the cartoons that I watched when I was a kid. I mean, I'm already getting Masters of the Universe.
That's true.
So there's that. Let's see. Other cartoons I watched. I honestly, a lot of the cartoons I watched when I was a kid, like they were, I mean, like they were okay, but they weren't. I can't. There isn't a lot I can think of that I'm like I would fucking want to watch that now. I used to watch. They had a cartoon version of Conan the Barbarian, and it was so fucking hokey, but I loved it so much when I was a kid. And then there was this other one. It was James Bond Jr., where he was.
That would be bad.
He was James Bond's nephew. I think that's how it went. He was James Bond's nephew, but basically like every episode was like a James Bond movie.
I gotcha.
Where like he had like his roommate would fucking like build him like all these fucking weird ass gadgets and shit. And
what about Foghorn Leghorn?
I mean, I loved Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
Marvin the Martian was my jam. That was my for some reason, I don't know why, but for some reason Marvin the Martian always appealed to me as a character. You know how like when in the 90s it was a big thing in the 90s to have like patches and jackets and clothes with Warner Brothers characters on them, and it was always like it was like Bugs Bunny, but he'd like have his ears down and he'd be wearing like a backwards cap and he'd have like a jean jacket on, shit like that. So like mine, for some reason, the character I was like, I'm gonna pick Marvin the Martian because I was the one that wanted to be fucking different and was like, oh, Bugs Bunny, that's for all you plebes. Marvin the Martian's where it's at, motherfuckers.
Marvin the Martian's out of this world, get it?
With his P-32 explosive space modulator.
But yeah, I think like there's got to be the mashup is a big thing right now. Like Hanna-Barbera could do this.
You could,
and I would be in.
How? Oh my god, yeah. You start phase 1, and then you just build up to Wacky Races, and everybody's like, "Hey, that's fucking great!"
Yeah,
and
that
then
was
you're
clever.
Like, you think that was cool? Wait for fucking, and then you just you just tease Laugh Olympics at the.
Well,
no,
you wouldn't
end.
even tease it. Like we would get it because we're smart, but they'd be like, "Well, they can't do Wacky Races 2. That'd be stupid." You see it building up. It's like, no, it's not Wacky Races 2. It's the Laugh Olympics.
Oh shit!
Shit writes itself, Richard. But I still suggest, even though I kind of basically told you the entire plot, I think you should go check it out. It's worth a rent.
Yeah, I might give it a shot.
So what they did with the releases, you could rent it for $20, or you could buy it for $25.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, we went ahead and bought it for $25 digitally because, like I said, my son's watched it a ton of times, so it was totally worth it. But I'm curious. So I guess to kind of end up before we jump out of here, do you think this is going to kind of become the norm for movies? Do you think the movie going experience is going to start dwindling down?
I think the movie going experience is going to dwindle down. I don't think it's going to go away, but I do think it's going to dwindle down. I honestly I could see. I think that what you're going to see is basically like a lot of like those, like your big budget, big name movies is what you're going to see in theaters. And then you're going to see a lot of stuff that isn't that going directly to streaming services.
Yeah. Cause I haven't even looked, but I think the theaters in our area are still shut down. So I don't know when those are planning on opening up.
Right. Well, I guess you see like Scoob or Onward. Which Onward was kind of a big deal because you're going like, holy shit, like Disney Pixar movie, like this is going to be
it's a big deal.
Yeah, that's kind of a deal. However, like Disney, when it came to like Black Widow, they were like, no. We'll just push that to November.
Yeah, but what happens if in November stuff is still like, yeah, we're not doing the theater thing yet? I mean, are you going to see that as a digital download, or are you going to see it as a
I don't know. I don't know.
It'll be interesting to
see. Somebody brought up an interesting point that I saw, and they said, what's going to happen with the Academy Awards?
I've heard that, yeah, because they have to be in a theater for like 2 weeks.
They have to be a movie has to be in a theater for 2 weeks.
In New York or LA, right?
It has to be in New York and in LA, and it has to be reviewed by both the New York Times and the LA Times, in order to be eligible for an Academy Award. So is the fucking Troll movie gonna get Best Picture because it's the only one nominated?
I hope so, because it would just show like the stupidness of the Academy Awards. Like I could give two shits about those awards.
I agree. I've never really wanted to like follow the Academy Awards. I occasionally I'll watch this. Every now and again I'll watch the Academy Awards. Not really so much because I care who wins, but like the spectacle of it, is sometimes interesting. And honestly, the last time I remember watching the Academy Awards like in full was when Lord of the Rings swept them.
Oh yeah.
And they won like fucking like they got they won like all 11 of their nominations. Like they were nominated for 11 and they won 11.
I gotcha.
That was the last one I think I remember watching from beginning to end.
Yeah, but I mean, if the movie theater industry goes down, that's going to be kind of like really sad to me, because I always like going to movies because, you know, if you watch a movie at home, you still have your phone, you still have like stuff that can pull you away from it. But when you're at the theater, like that's all you're doing.
Yeah, you're right.
So if it does start to become more of a thing in the past, that's definitely going to make me pretty sad, because like I said, I go to the movies with my father-in-law all the time, so it's like our thing. And I would love for that to, I mean, like Kevin Smith, that's like what him and his dad always did. So I was kind of hoping that'd be something me and my son would get to do, but we'll see. I mean, there's still going to be movies. It's just going to probably be a different way to consume them.
Yeah.
But as we are rolling into the starting line to get prepared for the HBCU finale of Wacky Races, Richard, what are some of your closing thoughts?
Nostalgia nostalgia can sometimes be a good thing and not necessarily a bad thing. And also, Hanna Barbera, call us, because we've got tons of ideas. And apparently, according to the internet, Shaggy is an all-powerful Ultra Instinct super fighter that can take out Goku using less than 10% of his power.
So Shaggy is the one.
Yeah. Apparently, like, just there's a badass Shaggy subreddit. There's some actually there's a lot of, you know, fairly cool pictures if you want to look.
I feel like you got to be careful if you see the ones that say not safe for work and not clicking on those.
That's true.
All right. Well, let me do a little bit of housekeeping. Visit our website. We're at languageofbros.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at languageofbro. Email us at bros@languageofbros.com. You can like us on Facebook. And remember, there's a couple ways you can help support the show. You can always spread the bromance by liking, retweeting, and sharing our show on Reddit, Facebook, or any other social media platforms. And you can also pick up some of that sweet LB merchandise at our TeePublic store.
Perfect.
Also, if you want to take that next bigger step, you can help us out by joining our Patreon accounts, patreon.com/languageofbromance. Pay for the show out of pocket, so this is just a way to help us keep it free and kind of help pay for some of those things. We got a brand spanking new Patreon member, so I want to thank Shane very much
for he's the best.
Yeah.
I love him.
Want to thank longtime Patreon members, Wendy and Aaron, for their continued support.
I love them too. Love all three of them.
All right. Was there anything else before I close her out?
I'm good.
All right. Watch all the bromance for this show. I'm Shawn.
And I'm not Shaggy.
And remember, don't be a why.
Be a why not.
Wooby wooby woo.
Scooby Dooby Doo. Scoobity Doo.
Who was it? It was Red Herring.
I knew it.